Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I
Good
believe it
afternoon,
is
sir.
good.
Good afternoon, sir.
All right, welcome to our second week of lectures. I believe you guys have been reading through the slides. So today is going to be more of questions, and then I'll ask you guys questions, and you at least tell me your opinion, what you have read so far. You know, our distance school, it's more or less student-centered. So we provide you with materials, and then you read. Then when we meet for the tutorials, we ask questions, you ask questions, we all contribute, we discuss, and then we close. So the Saturday and the Sunday meetings are not really for teaching, like we have to be teaching. No, but you guys are supposed to be doing most of the reading. And then what baffles your mind or what you don't understand, then when we meet, we discuss that. All right, so today we just want to continue with the overview of business information technology. And so I want to ask you questions. What have you read so far from the slides, and then what have you identified from the slides? From the beginning, not from where we started to where we ended. What have you read so far during the week? Anybody can just speak. Quickly, let's summarize and then. So tell me what you learned. Tell me what you so far from business information technology or introduction to business information technology. Yes, Ibrahim. Ibrahim. Are you guys here?
Yeah, here, sir.
All right, so I'm asking
Yes, sir.
questions. Nobody is talking, so at least we did this last week. We started last week, and I'm asking you what you learned last week, what you got from our discussion last week. I mean,
Hello, sir.
yes, Abraham.
Yes, sir. Please, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
So, as the course states, business information technology is all about how to involve technology in making decisions for the improvement of your business or achieving a certain goal for your business with technology.
Okay. All right. So that's fine. That's nice. All right, Steven. Anything?
Yes, sir. So please, last week as well, we made mention or we've learned about the characteristics of a computer, and then the key components, and then the processing cycle of a computer, the software, the component of IT as well.
Okay. All right. Yes. Who else? The ladies. Queen.
Sir, good afternoon.
Good
Sir,
afternoon.
please, last week I was not really active here, sir.
We're not listening to our discussion.
I was online, but I was at work. Same as today, sir.
So then probably the semester will end, and then like nothing is passing through. And you didn't also read after work. You didn't also go through the slides.
Yeah, I've been busy.
You've been busy.
I'll catch up, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, that's a serious allegation. Oh. Because if you don't study, distance school is more or less like your own activity. So if you don't have the time and then you don't study, you end up complaining that the thing is too difficult. They are not teaching us, and the thing is this, and the thing is that, because you should be having time to. I mean, you have to have some period, even 30 minutes in a day. Guys need to make time, and then go through the slides, go through the textbook, and then have a fair idea.
Yes, sir. That will do so, sir.
Yeah, so I'm advising the whole class. I know for distance that is the main focus. I don't know whether distance students were rather giving some kind of information, or maybe opposite information of what's supposed to happen. The distance learning is basically you doing most of the learning yourself as a student. But one thing I have realized is most students here are busy. Like, I'm a military person, I'm an officer, so all you have is what the lecturer comes here to do. People don't even go on the portal to even check what is there. It's like, and please, what's the name? Abraham. The moment the portal is active, don't download anything from there and then send it on your WhatsApp page.
I think I've been doing that.
Yeah, don't download. Let everybody here be active on the portal, the LMS.
Okay.
Yes. Everybody's supposed to be going there each day.
Okay.
Yes. So when they come and question you, where is the slides? Where is this? As long as it's on the portal, you just have to keep mute. Everybody's supposed to be active, because that is our learning center. It's just like you not coming to class, and then you complain that your class rep is not sending you the notes that the lecturer gave at the lecture hall. No, it is your responsibility to be. And this is an online thing, so please, I beg you all, let's be active. Let's spend time, go on the portal, download whatever we are supposed to download. So it will help us all. All right, so last week...
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Abraham. Today our class is going to be very short. So last week we started discussing about introduction to business information technology. So we tried to define what information technology is, which looks more at the IT aspect, or the technological aspect, or the technical aspect of what using technology, using different components of the technology to achieve whatever. Mostly it is for general purpose, for entertainment, for personal lifestyle, for whatever. But when we talk about business information technology, basically we are looking at how we can leverage on technology to support our business growth. So unlike the general technology or information technology that looks at other aspects, entertainment and stuff, for business information technology, or BIT, the focus is how can we grow our business, how can we expand our business, how can we use technology to support the flow of information within our business environment. So we defined that, and then we went on to break it down into the different components, where we started to understand the basic component that comes together to form the business information technology, which is data, and then what we call information. So we define what data is, or data, which we said it is the raw facts that has no meaning. It does not make meaning to the end user. It needs to be processed. It needs to go through some processing, right? So if you are using technology, then it needs to be captured into the computer, and then the computer processor process this using some instructions, process this data, and then convert it into what? Meaningful context, which becomes information which the end user can use for decision making, right? And then we went on to discuss about information, which is processed data that is meaningful to the end user, right? And then we went on to discuss the different aspects of information. So we ended on the quality of information, right? Which I did even explain all these things that we have here. We can group this into different categories, when we want to talk about the quality of information in terms of what time, in terms of what the content, in terms of the form of the information, and then the other characteristics that describe how information is so important in our life. I remember last week Stephen even did mention, I asked question about money and then information, which one is more valuable in our life today. And then I also remember mentioning that in the olden days, or in the past, in the days of old, we used to consider land, capital, and labor as the most important asset for every business. But today, we have come to realize, or we have come to the realization that information is the most important asset of every organization today. Even in our personal life, as an individual, information is the most important asset of our life. In that, without information, life will become some way. We will struggle to make an ends meet. We will struggle to even understand and be. So we will struggle also to make good use of the money that we have. So we end up just like the prodigal son, who decided to take the portion of what belongs to him. And because he lacked information and he lacks understanding, he misused his money. Just like some footballers, they make the money today, and whether it is childishness or they think life is going to remain the same, just because they lack information. They lack information of how to invest the money. And so after some years, they begin to struggle in life. They go back to their own former players to beg them for money, or to ask for assistance. Why? Because when they had money, they didn't have much knowledge or have information about how to invest this money to increase what they have. But rather, their understanding of using money is to go to club, show off that, oh, I'm back from the World Cup, there's money. Charlie, everybody should drink whatever he can drink. Everything is on me. Then they do that for about 10 times, and then the money begins to finish. And then at a point, they are struggling. We have former footballers who were rich, or who were supposed to be rich, but they are struggling today. You understand? It's all because of what? Lack of information. So it's not about money, because you can have the money today, tomorrow you can be a poor person. But you might not have money today, but you might have information which will turn your situation around. All right. So timeliness of information is very, very important, as I explained last week. The currency of the information. Right. Today, information is very, very important in our life, because current information can change the situation. Then the flow of the information, the currency or the frequency of the information. At what point, at what interval do we have to get this information? And at what point can we use the information? And then the time period. For each period, it is first, second semester. So if you don't do this course for this semester, then we deprive you of that information. It will have some impact in your life and all that. So that is some of the characteristics of information. I ask you to read about this and understand all the things that go into this. All right. So accuracy is key. Giving wrong information can lead to a disastrous decision. Just last Sunday, I was in church, and my pastor was just making a reference to when wrong information is given. You can be at a place. He was just relating it to what? Being at a place at the wrong time. That somebody who was having issue with one of his legs, and they needed to amputate his leg, the left leg. So the doctor came and then gave inaccurate information that, oh, it's supposed to be the right leg. So they amputated the right leg. And then later he came back and said, oh, it was a mistake. It's rather the left leg. When he checked on the system, it's rather the left leg, not the right. Then they have already amputated the right leg already. And the left leg is what is causing, has cancer, and then they have to. So now he went to the hospital hoping that at least he will come back home with one leg. But he ended up coming home with no leg. You understand? So information, if you don't give that accurate information, yeah, you can create a major issue in somebody's life, which is very serious. Yeah, Steven, it's a very serious thing. So information, your little mistake, inaccurate information, and then that is the end of somebody's life. I mean, people are dying. When you listen to the story of Michael Jackson overdosing, he overdosed the medication, the same medication that he has been taking. The doctor said, oh, it seems you are too stressful, let's increase the dose. And then that was the end of his life. He slept and then he couldn't wake up. So the moment you give inaccurate information, you can destroy a whole company. A company can go on bankrupt till the end. So we need to be, and then relevant information is also very important. I mean, sometimes when you look at our politicians in Ghana, you feel like they don't get the relevant information. They are ministers, they are MPs, and then they are MCs, and all those people don't give them relevant information about their constituencies or accurate information. Sometimes when you see that it's not relevant, what you are telling us now is like you are just talking English, and we end up not understanding anything at all. So the relevancy of the information is also key. Then completeness, content, the information must be complete, so we can make informed decision. Conciseness of the information, it must be on point, concise, shouldn't be turning around. Sometimes when like a guy going to propose to a woman, instead of going straight to the point, he will be walking around the bush. No, I came to your house, I saw 2 dogs, one is white, one is yellow. I have never seen a yellow dog before, it's the first time I saw a yellow dog, and then this dog come back a lot. I mean, so what, bro? Go straight. Opoku, I hope you understand. Yeah, sometimes you see, when looking at the appearance of the person, it sometimes gives you a lot of stress. You don't know how to start the story, and so you have to beat about the bush and to test the waters to see if there's a way. But mostly we have to be concise and then let us know what we mean. Then the scope is also very important. Information must have a scope where it covers. I understand. Some information covers certain levels, some also, so you should know the scope. Now this is just for a HR student. It doesn't cover all level 100s or all level 200 or all distance students. So the information has a scope, must have a scope to help the direction of the flow. And then the form of the information with the clarity of the information must be clear. It has to be detailed, structured, detailed, so that when we read, we understand. But there are certain information when you receive, when you now, as you are reading that thing, you don't, it's like when you are not good in maths. Like when you see, what is it? XY into bracket, whatever, minus this, AB, like, what is this? It is not too clear to you. You don't really understand what is happening. After 2 weeks, you are still struggling. Especially some of the ladies. They don't like mathematics at all. Yes, it's true. It's true. Sometimes we try to cover people up. And that is what also create a lot of issues. We have the clear information, you have the accurate information, but we try to cover up and then pretend as if we don't have or we don't know. I mean, some ministers say, I've not heard that. Meanwhile, the thing is lying on his table. He knows what is going on, but he will tell you, I have not heard. I have not checked the news. I understand. Information must be ordered. It has to be in a certain order. It has to flow. It has to be in a presentable form. We should be able to present the information. If we have information and we cannot present the information, then it's not information. We can't use it. The form of the information must be presentable. It should be in a certain media or medium. Certain media or medium. Maybe digital medium, physical medium, paper form or whatever, information must be able to have a medium or a media. And then confidence in the source, who is sending the information, who is receiving the information. We need to trust the source. I mean, if you don't trust the source, then information, you might not accept that as an information. Reliable, formatted correctly, appropriateness of the information, received by the correct person, and then sent by the correct channels or medium. All right, so these are some of the characteristics of information. You can be asked to give some characters, and in every organization there are certain environment. Every organization finds itself within an environment, and the environment can be grouped into 3 different environments. You have the specific environment, which is where the company is. So those who know me, GCTU campus, I believe you've all been to the school before, so you know where the school is. That is our physical or the specific environment that we find ourselves. So this environment is made up of the employees, lecturers, administrative staff, because when it comes to the distance school, we have the lecturers who are teaching physically on campus, and then we have the administrative staff, Miss Beta, Miss Sylvia, our coordinator, Dr. Bibi, and then all those who are working in the office to ensure things are working, the employees who are working, and the relations that they have with students. You know how Miss Beta is always smiling with students, trying to make you feel comfortable and all that, trying to support you in every issue, because she has personal relationship with the student. Understand? So that is one aspect of the environment that we find ourselves. The suppliers, the customers, which is when you talk about school, you guys are the customers of the school. Suppliers are different group of companies or individuals who provide the institution with services. Like we need internet service, we need this, we need data, we need that. They are the suppliers. And then the competitors, other investors that we are competing with. This makes up what the organization's specific environment. And then we can have the general environment, which deals with what the economic factors that influences the university's activities. You know, there are certain internal and external economic factors that affect the organization. And then the public opinions, people saying things about the school is this, where the school is, they don't have this, the school has done that, the school is very nice, I like the school, I'll bring my daughter. Comment about people within the environment also has some influence on the organization. The laws of the state, the legislature or legislations also have major impact on the organization. And then the technology that we use also affect the organization. If you have good technological platforms that we use, like the LMS, which helps students whatever you need at any time, any point in time, whether at night, in the morning, at dawn, you can be able to sign in. So the platform that we use also has some kind of impact on the organization. So that is the second environment that we find ourselves. And then the last environment is the physical environment, where the institution is situated. You understand? If it was to be in Temale, I'll be sure most of you will not be part of the school. Say, I can't go to Temale to go and write exams. Hey, I'm very far. I'm in Accra. How should I go to Temale and write exams? Or why should I go to Temale to have face-to-face class? So the physical location of the organization also determines how the organization can be able to expand and to grow. The weather of the environment. You understand? If the place is too waterlogged, is situated in waterlogged environment, the moment it rains, it means we can't have anything to do on campus. Nobody can go there because the whole environment is flooded. You understand? So weather, if it's raining, the little bit the weather changes, we have to close the school. There's a school on the in Sawam Road, Achimota and Sawam Road. It's just by the roadside. It's a flooded environment. So the moment the weather changes, they have to close the school. Whether it's in the afternoon, they have through the day, they will close and go home, because the moment it start raining, the children will be stuck in the school. You understand? So this affects the organization, and all this thing comes together to ensure the organization is either progressing or deteriorating, or moving forward or moving backwards. So these are the surroundings of every organization that we find today in our life. So what is the relation between e-business and then information or business information technology? So the European Commission has come up with what? A definition or a description of what e-business. E-business basically means electronic business. All right, electronic business. So it covers both e-commerce, electronic commerce, that is buying and then selling items, services, products, whatever that we want to do on the internet, online, and then also restructuring of what the business processes to make the best use of what digital technologies. So it's not just about buying and selling of products and services on the internet, which is e-commerce, but also how can we be able to provide better services for our customers? How can we leverage on technology to ensure that whatever we do, it is online or it's technological or it is technology oriented, mediated by all the use of computers and technology and internet and all that. So we restructure our business processes. Instead of a customer traveling, by now you should be in Accra. I was on campus this morning and I see students on campus having physical lectures, whilst you guys are still home. Some are at work, some are at a funeral, some are at weddings, but you are still part of the class. So using technology to support the process of you traveling to campus this morning has been reduced to having it online and can be at home. So e-business is concerned with what? Making day-to-day business activities more efficient by what? Improving information exchange within the organization and then between the organization and its partners. So that is the purpose of electronic business. The concern is what? To make day-to-day business activities more efficient. I mean, less time wasting, less spending of money. To achieve that, buy data and then you can be having your lectures at home, relax. You are part of the class, you are cooking. You see, as I'm sitting and talking, somebody is also using earpiece. Is preparing afternoon banku with pepper, and she will not even invite me. You understand? And so it gives you that time, the flexibility. That is what the efficiency is about. It gives you those kind of, without much time wasting and money spending and all that, which by way it improve information exchange. So we are exchanging information now within the organization and then between the organization and its partners. So as at now, I'm sharing information with you, which I'm representing the organization, and then it is between myself or the organization and then our partners, which is our customers. All right, so that is basically what e-business is about. And then Henry also came up with a classic how does information support managers, explanation of how information is still relevant for managers today. So he tried to define what management that is still widely used. He tried to define what management is when it comes to the use of information in organization. What is management? So he says what to manage is to what? Forecast. You have to forecast, you have to plan, you have to organize, and then you have to command and to coordinate and then to control. That is how to manage. So to manage this class, for Abraham to be able to manage the class, he has to be able to what? Forecast and then plan ahead. So as you are going to have the face-to-face, I need to talk to the distance office, I need to talk to the distance school, I need to talk to Madam Beta and find out which lecture hall are we going to be using, how is the activities. So he's trying to plan ahead to organize, call the members, those who are not active, try to find out what's happened to them. Because if I'm not the leader of the class, I don't care whether somebody can, but the leader tries to find out, I've not been seeing this person in the meetings, what's happening? Organizing the meetings, calling lectures. Because most of you don't even have my number, but Abraham sends me message, try to alert me that, hey bro, there's class on Saturday, so prepare. Organizing the class and to command, to alert him to commands. This is the time you are meeting at this time. That is it. Try to and then coordinate and make sure the lecture says it's not coming, but he's giving us an assignment. We are supposed to do this and that and submit during his period or her period. That's what we then. So that is basically how to manage information as a manager to ensure that you are able to perform and then achieve your goals. So because if you cannot control, if you cannot coordinate, if you cannot plan, then what are you managing? Sometimes you find out people struggling to manage their own personal life because they don't plan, they don't organize their life, they are just there zuguma, like before they realize exams is next week and there's a difficulty of what try to learn. And it becomes like, hey, it's not my fault or my work is no. Because of planning, you don't plan. When you plan, you will be able to achieve a lot of things. So different decision types. We have different decision types in every organization. As an individual, as the manager of a department, or as the head of an organization, there are different ways to make a decision. Right? So the first type of decision that we can make, which involves the use of information, right, is what? Decision behavior. This describes how managers make decisions and then the factors that influence the decision that they are making. You see, there are several factors that influences a decision that most of the time we make. Sometimes based on our experiences, based on past experiences, based on our feelings, our emotions, whatever. We make a decision. So these are the things that are influencing the decision I made. But the way this guy is behaving this way, it's going to be, the end result will be like this. So let me quit. Let me say it's over. Let me leave her before she decides. But probably that is not. So sometimes that is our decision behavior. Making a decision and then the factors that influence this decision. What factors influence the decision that you made? And then structured decisions. Situations where the rules and then constraints governing the decision are known. So here it is structured. We know the structure. Please guys, hold on 1 minute. Let me just, there's some kids making noise in my house. Let me shut them. All right, so the structure here, everything is in order, like it has been structured. You know what to say, what to tell them. It has been organized. So that is one form of decision. Sometimes ministers, when they go for program, they are just reading. From here you say this, you say that, and then you end the meeting. Then unstructured decisions, complex situations, where the rules governing the decision are complicated or unknown. Sometimes at the highest level of decision making, we have what we call the unstructured decisions. Sometimes you have to make a decision and it's a complex decision to take. In the next 20 years, you wouldn't know what will happen, but you are making a decision for the next 20 years for the organization. So these ones are unstructured. For the structured ones, it is the day-to-day running. The lower level people, they always need structured information or decisions. It is written down, so they follow and then they take their decision. But the unstructured ones, it has no format. You need to combine a lot of things in order to make the decision. And then we have the cognitive style, which is also a form of decision. It describes the way in which a manager absorbs information and then reaches decision. So sometimes a manager needs to sit down, go through all the information available before a decision is made. For a manager to transfer a staff from one department to another, they have to absorb a lot of information, and then they can reach a conclusion and say, okay, we want to do this, we want to do that. Sometimes too, it's not based on anything. Sometimes it's based on hatred. Then we make a decision, and then we just, all right. So a manager's cognitive style will fall between analytical and then inductive or intuitive style. So inductive styles are basically decisions that are based on what our feelings, our behavior, our emotions. It's not based on what some kind of facts. We don't have some facts, but we are just basing them on this person is an Akan, this person is Ewe, and I don't like Akans, so I need to move this person, I need to sack this person. I don't like Ewes, I don't like Nordness. You understand? Based on the person's past experiences with some tribe, he might decide to take a decision on a person, and then the analytical one is one that deals with what facts. The facts are written down. We collect data, we analyze the data, and then based on the data that was gathered and analyzed, then we can come out with what? A conclusion or a decision. All right, so basically that is the two type of what cognitive decision making in organizations. All right, either based on our feelings or based on some facts, based on data that has been gathered and all that. Is your data hard or soft? So we can have hard data or data and then soft data. Hard data are basically collected in order to what? Measure or quantify an object or a situation. Those are hard data. So I come to your class, I give you guys questionnaires with some questions and then some close-ended answers. Then you just take yes, no, agreed, disagreed, neutral, or whatever. You take them. Those are what hard form of data. So I go and sit down and then I analyze what you are saying. And then the soft is also referred to as what? Qualitative. So the hard quantitative, which is gathering data, statistical data. So we have the figures, we have the facts. Like the population of Ghana is 2 million. It is based on what the data that we gathered. We can now conclude and say the population of Ghana is this number of people based on some facts. So that is quantitative. Then the qualitative, I can come to class, be part of the class, and then I begin to observe. I don't tell anybody anything. I'm also a registered student, and then I observe the behavior of the people in the class for maybe 2-3 semesters, and then I can make a conclusion. Or sometimes I conduct interviews. People will respond to the interview based on their feelings, their emotions. So they tell you about what they feel about a situation. So what do you feel about the government of Ghana now? I mean, you have people giving their opinions. You understand? So their opinions are just basically about what they feel about the situation. So it's not like all their beliefs or their opinions or their thoughts about a situation. So those are soft data, which can also be analyzed to give feedbacks. So decision characteristics and then management levels. In every organization, I think last week I did mention, in every organization, there are 3 levels of decision making. We have the top level, the middle level, and then the lower level. So the top level management
the middle level managers or management, and then the lower level management or managers. All right, so in these three categories, we can, when it comes to information or application of information, hey, these kids, please, do you guys hear any background noise? Or you don't hear any noise?
Say we can hear, but not too noisy over here.
Not, I'm coming. I don't know.
These kids, I don't know where they brought them. I have gone there to shut them that they should stop making noise. I'm coming here. Let me just. I don't know what's wrong with them. I have to shout them so that they stop. What is the way they do? You see the meeting, who tells them that my papa said they're not rocking. I'm going to play back. I don't know when I did. Yeah, class, who tells them that? All right, so
the first level, which is the top level management, we have what we call the strategic information or decision making. So at this level, the type of decision is what unstructured, as I was talking about the unstructured type of decision. There's no format. It is very complicated, difficult. That is why in every organization, it is the top level managers who are paid more. They don't do much work, but they are paid more. The reason they are paid more is because they take complex decisions for the organization. Because their decision can make or make the organization. They take long-term decisions, 20 years, 30 years, and that is it. So structured decisions, a strategic decision which are unstructured, the time scale is what long term, the impact on the organization is, it has a very large impact, huge impact on the organization. And then the frequency of decision is what infrequent. They don't take decisions continuously, like every day they are making a decision. No, sometimes they take a decision, and that is why mostly the board of directors of organization, they don't meet every day. They are not working every day. If you're a military man, the senior most people in the military office, they don't meet every day for decisions. They meet sometimes once in 3 months, twice in 3 months, whatever. So it's not frequent decision they don't take, because their decisions are long term, and then it needs a lot of analytical applications, right? And then the second type is what tactical decisions, which is also unstructured. But in this case, the time scale is what medium, maybe 1 year decision, 6 months. Like for instance, our distance school, our coordinator can make a decision for a semester, 6 months or 3 months, 4 months decision, or even 1 year for one academic year. Make a decision and say, oh, we want to do this for the distance school. But if she wants to take a permanent decision that will remain forever, then he has to consult management. So I'll talk to the pro vice chancellor or the acting vice chancellor, and then he will also take it up to council, and then they will sit down and decide, and then whatever they agreed on, it will be implemented for a long term. So the coordinator can take a medium term decision that will help us run the school, and then the frequency of the decisions are also infrequent. It's not always. It happens only once in about 5 years. We just take a short-term decision or medium-term decision,
and then that is it. It doesn't take such decisions again, or any form of decision again, for a very long time. And then we have the operational decision, which is structured. That one is given to the lower people, the people who have lower understanding. So it's structured. They follow the rules, and then they do their work based on what has been given to them. The time scale is very short, day-to-day running of the organization. They are used for day-to-day running of the organization. We will speak, or we will discuss some of the systems that are used for these levels or technological systems that are used to support this level. And then what the impact on the organization is very small, very, very small impact. The day-to-day guys who are doing the walla to walla, start diving, jumping, moving this, the impact on the organization is very low. So sometimes we ask ourselves, hey, these people who are doing all the work, how much are they being paid? The cleaners are watching their impact on the organization, is very low, very small. So when a big man is chopping money, please don't be angry. Okay, they are making the quality decisions for the organization to improve. If the cleaner decide not to clean the washroom for 1 week, 1 month, it will not have major impact on the organization that much. I understand. But when management decide that, oh, there's no lecture hall, but they don't care, the school can easily collapse. The distance learning, we need a platform, but nobody cares. There's nobody taking a decision on whether to have a platform or not. So the student meet and we don't know what's happening. The distance school will collapse. I understand. So that is basically and the frequency is what? It's frequent every day. There are short decisions that are taken. Go and clean the washroom. Go and do this. Go and fix this here. The light is not working. Go and those are day-to-day activities or decisions that are taken within the organization. So these are the 3 levels, and then how information is used. So that is it. The top level. So you can see at the top level, it is few people who are there, because those are the people who think critically, strategically for the organization. And then whenever they bring up the decision, the tactical level ensure that they enforce the decision. So they ensure that the decision has been implemented. And then the operational level people work on that decision. So you don't take much decision for the organization at the lower level. At this level, they also make some level of decision, but not too high or complex decisions. But the strategic level make complex decisions for the organization. And then the tactical group of leaders ensure. That is why the HODs will force the people lower to work, because a decision has been sent from, like the president sends a decision. It is sent to the DCs and MCs, and then they enforce that the lower people within the constituencies are working, or the district are working, or the metropolis are working to achieve the goal of the president. For 8 years, he wants to implement something for the 8 years of his leadership or 4 years of his leadership. This is what I want to do in the Achimbo constituency. He has taken a decision, or with his cabinet, they've taken a decision. It is those at the middle level, which is the MCs, the MPs, and whatever, who will ensure that the constituency or the community is performing to achieve what the president has issued. I hope you get it. All right. So the same level, management level, the strategic, the tactical, and the operational. The time period is wide. The frequency is infrequent. The source is external. It's always not from within the organization. It's external. So sometimes their decision will be based on what they have gathered concerning their competitors, what their competitors are bringing up, what the community or the environment is looking for, and all that. It's not just within the organization. All right. And then the certainty, it's less certain. A decision that they are taking, it's not certain that it is going to achieve that. No. Sometimes you take a decision and then after 5 years it backfires. You have planned to do this, and then when there's COVID, whatever you have planned has to change. Right? The scope is wide; it doesn't cover just a small portion of the organization, and then the details are just summarized. You just get the point. Yeah, they just give points, and then you have to elaborate or expand the point. And then the tactical has the same approach. Yes, Abraham.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, a quick question, please.
Yes, please.
So when it comes to decision making among the top managers.
Yes.
Let's say they have somebody in the middle level who they think when it comes to top managerial decision making, they can recruit that person from the middle level, but yet still maintain the person in the middle level. And there's scenarios like that.
So you see, the middle level, you see, information flows from the top to the bottom, then the bottom to the top. So if they have considered someone within the middle level, like an HOD, head of department, who can contribute to, that is why even within the organization, you know, let's take GCTU for instance. We have the pro vice chancellor, the vice chancellor, the council chair, and then the council, which forms the council or whatever that it is, the board of the organization, the university. You understand? Before the council can meet, each group of these individuals have had meeting with the people who are below them. So if there is an HOD who works under the pro vice chancellor, there would have been a meeting, and then this HOD would have contributed his ideas and then given his information to the pro vice chancellor. So the pro vice chancellor also goes in to meet the vice chancellor, discuss all those things with the vice chancellor. So that when the vice chancellor goes into the council meeting, then he can also bring those things up. So now the vice chancellor becomes the decision making body for all those people. So you might have the decision, but you have to convey that decision to the vice chancellor. Until you have gotten to a certain level, you cannot just be promoted.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is how it works.
Thank you.
All right, okay. So when we talk about the operational one, the time period is what? Narrow. Just a day, just 2 days, just 3 days decisions. Can make, and then it is frequent. Every day we are making decisions. We need to do this, we need to buy powder, we need to buy this, we need to get this for our day-to-day work and all that. And then those decisions are, the sources are within the organization, internal. Their decisions and then activities are within the organization, internal. And then it is more certain, we know the outcome. As you are going to buy, at least the bathroom will be smelling a little bit nicer so that people can go there. We know the end result. When we buy a broom, we know that you need to use the broom to sweep. So it is certain. The certainty of the decision, we know the outcome. And then the scope is narrow. It's just a small portion of the organization that is up. And then it is detailed, because if the information is not detailed, they cannot understand. My level of intelligence is higher than probably somebody who is lower at the university level, like within the organization. For, let me just give us like a driver or a cleaner or a messenger. My decision making level will be higher than the person. That is why I will be paid more than the person, because I don't basically need detailed information to understand certain things. A summary of it I can be able to understand. I mean, if you give this slides to a cleaner to come and teach, it is a summarized textbook. I understand. The person will not even be able to understand to come and explain. But based on the intellectual level of a person, you can be able to understand and explain for people to understand what the thing is. So summary, but the person can be able to elaborate. So it's not supposed to be detailed information, but I can make a meaning out of it. All right, so that is how. So now you understand why some people are paid more. Why people are paid more in organizations than others. So don't be jealous when your boss is chopping big money and then you are not. So a model of decision making, the intelligence level, which is the activity that goes on at the intelligence level, or that's the intelligence stage, is what we need to be aware, the awareness that a problem exists. And intellectually, you identify that there is a problem within the organization. And then, is there a question? Yeah, he deserves it, so he has to enjoy. as awareness that there is a problem within the organization. All right. And then the next level is what? Awareness that a decision must be made. That is the intelligence level, that we need to identify there is a problem in the institution, and then this problem needs a solution. A decision has to be made to solve the problem in the organization. Right. And then after the intelligence level, we move on to the design stage. The design stage. So at the design stage, we identify all possible solutions. So now we have identified there is a problem. We have identified that we are aware that a decision must be made. Then we have to identify all possible solutions. What are some of the solutions that can be put in place to overcome this problem that we have identified? And then we examine the possible solutions. Now we have to sit down and then massage all the possible solutions and see if there is one out of the 10 solutions that can best solve the problem that we have identified. Then the next one, examine the implications of all possible solutions. What are the implications of all these solutions that we have identified? If we do A, what will be the implication? If we consider B, what will be the situation? If we consider C, what will be the situation? And then the next one is what? The choice. So then we select the best solution for, based on the A, B, C, D solutions that we identify, and then the consequences or the implications. Then now we can select the best one. That is our choice. We make a decision. And then the implementation stage, we now implement the solution. And then the evaluation. After we have implemented the solution, then we have to go about and evaluate the effectiveness or the success of the decision that we took. The solution that we selected, we need to measure and find out the impact. Were we able to achieve our goal? Is it successful? Is it helping? What is the outcome? We need to be able to weigh that. So that is basically it. So what is business rules? In our decision making, in our information implementation, what are business rules? So a business rule basically describes what action the organization or the department should take when a particular situation arises. So you work within a department or unit of the organization. What action must we take when this thing happens? That is one of the issues politicians are facing in Ghana here. There are no business rules to their decisions. Like when this thing happens, what must we do? We just consider our political people and then the rest should die. You understand? People are building their houses inside a flood environment or flood prone places. And what decision must we take? The rule must be applied. We need to break their buildings down. But we will be considering if we do that, they will not vote for us. They won't do this for us. They are threatening us that, oh, it's just 2 years' time, we will vote again. And because of that, we allow people to still stay. Galamsey, we want to stop. Now we take over. We are doing worse. Now it's like, you understand? What action must we take? So when we come, Galamsey is ending. What is happening? Now Kamu says, oh, Galamsey will end in a few days. Shim. It's becoming worse. It became worse. What is, it's like, what action are we taking? We don't have any rules to follow. So we just do things. Make I chop my 4 years and go. Make I chop my 8 years and enjoy. And then leave. You see, those are the things that are affecting us. There are no rules. So an example is what a bank might have a rule specifying that the customers applying for a loan will only be considered if they have had an account for 3 years or more. So unless you have had an account or had an account or hold an account with the organization or the bank for 3 years or more, that is only when you can be given a loan. So if you open an account today and you need a loan, then the system or the rule says that you don't qualify for loan. You understand? You don't qualify for a loan. Yeah, duty fees, yes. Like when you're clearing your goods, they say, oh, we'll reduce it to up. But, Charlie, we are still paying the same amount of money. You understand? The same. I don't know where that percentages are going. I don't know whether it's for some special group of people in Ghana here. I mean, you can't tell. It's serious. I mean, when you follow Ghana politics, you'll kill yourself. The few people who are following and they are enjoying and they understand, but some of us we don't understand. So we don't trust any politician, whether you are whoever. We don't trust you. They are all lies. All the same. They say they'll reduce hostel fees, you see, but it's still not working. Let's pray. One day they will change their mind. All politicians will come together and begin to they will change. So decision tree. Decision tree notation for checking loan application, just like the example that we read. So a customer comes in or a client comes in and they make inquiries about loan. All right. So we implement that into the system, and then the decision comes. Has the person had an account with us for the past 3 years or more? If yes, then allow the application to go on. If no, then refuse the application. Then we can't even continue with the application at all. About fees, no fee stress is working. Yeah, it's working. I think that one is working. Some students are enjoying that. I think for GTUC, I know some students. I don't know whether, but I don't know whether it's a specific group of people, but I know some students have gotten that money, basically. So if you are not getting it, then check your political background. For all right, check your political background before it's too late. You understand? Oh, you all have received. Oh, then that's good. Then that's nice. Everybody, yeah, it's supposed to. Then that's nice. I mean, our president is doing well. He's implementing things that are helping a bit. It's a good thing. So, all right. So framework for a decision table, right? So conditions, actions, and then action entries, condition alternatives. So that is the tree that we have here. The conditions and then the action that needs to be taken, and then the action entry. Is it if it's yes, we accept. If it's no, we just reject, and then we go on with whatever that we want to do. All right. So this is a typical example of the decision tree. Right. So a credit application received. Now the person who wants to apply has filled the form, send the form. We input the form into the system to check the person's bank details. So we enter the person's bank account and name to find out whether he has been saving with us for the past 3 years or more. If no, totally we just rule 1 is applied. So these are the rules. Rule 1 says what? Refuse the credit. And then if the person has been saving with us for the past 3 years, then yes. So what? We move on to the next stage. Is the person an employed person? If no, then we move on to the next stage and see, is the person holding any security, like he has some properties, he has some kind of insurance or something that in case we give the credit and an issue happens, we can be able to activate that. No, then we apply rule 2, refuse the credit. But if yes, even though the person is not employed, but maybe the person has some businesses, he's a business owner, he has his own company or he has his own business that he runs, but he's not employed in any company or government institution, but he has some security and stuff, then we can say apply rule 3, which is what? Offer credit. And if the person is also employed, but we don't even check whether it's security, as long as he's employed and he's receiving salary, then automatically we apply rule 4, which is we also offer. So that is basically the action alternative, and then what? The decision that comes out at the end of the day.
All right, so that is it for decision making tree in organization. All right, so let's talk about knowledge management quickly and then we can close. I think one of the topics we will deal more with knowledge management in organization. So we define knowledge management as what? Knowledge management is what? A deliberate, systematic business optimization strategy that selects. So first we select, distills, stores, organizes, packages, and then communicate information. Right, so we store information, we select information, we organize information, we package information, and then communicate this information for essential to the business of a company or the business of an organization in a manner that improves employee performance and then corporate. All right, so that is knowledge management. We collect knowledge or information, we communicate the information, we package the information, we organize it, we store it, and then we communicate that information that is essential to the business of the company. If it has nothing to do with the company, then it's not important. Then we don't need to manage that information. All right, so that is essential to a business of a company in a manner that improves employees' performance. So as Madam Beta has information about the distance students and whatever, she's able to improve on her performance, how to interact with distance students. She knows more about the distance student more than people who don't work with the distance student. Because when somebody is not working with distance student, you might think that they are not serious, don't mind them, they are not. No, but someone who is close to them will understand that no, their work and all that, they don't have time. Some are military people, they go to the bush, they are there for 4 days, they don't even have phones, their phones go off, you call them the person. So why is she able to analyze all those things or improve on her performance and then cooperate with these people? Because she understands, she has collected data, information, organized information, packaged information, and is able to communicate this information within the organization. So she is managing knowledge within the distance school. So many organizations have adapted to knowledge economy by adapting new structures and by creating new rules for managers. Right. So in most organizations today, the managers of the organization have adapted to the knowledge economy by adapting to new structures of how to term some group of people as this group and then call these people as this in the organization. The first term that they have come up with is what we call the knowledge workers. And this is used to describe a person whose role is based around creating, using, sharing, and then applying knowledge. So all that knowledge workers do is to create knowledge, to use the knowledge, and then to share the knowledge and then apply the knowledge within that department. So typical example is our coordinator and then Madam Beta. They create knowledge about the distance program, they use the knowledge, they share the knowledge, and then apply the knowledge to the distance. So when you have any difficulties, if you even come to me at certain stage, I'll tell you to go and see her for more information, because she understands the nitty-gritties of this program. She has gone deeper into it because she has gathered a lot of knowledge. So she creates knowledge. So she is a knowledge worker when it comes to the distance school. She creates the knowledge, use the knowledge, and then share the knowledge within the distance department or the distance school. And then we also have another group called knowledge engineer. So the knowledge engineer focuses on eliciting or obtaining knowledge from experts so that it can be recorded and then shared with others within the organization. So now the coordinator can go to Beta and then obtain knowledge about the distance program. Charlie, so what are your interaction with the student? Because most students will not call the coordinator, but rather they will call her because she deals with the student most often. So sometimes the coordinator have to consult her for more knowledge. So she is the expert in the field of this distance program, and then the coordinator, who is the head, must seek certain information that, oh, we need this. How do we go about it? Oh, as for the student, if you do 1, 2, 3, 4 things, we can be able to, So the coordinator becomes the knowledge engineer who focuses on eliciting or obtaining knowledge from experts in the, or she consults people who have been in this field for years, distance program for years, like a professor in another university who has been handling distance program for about 15 years, 20 years, and then she obtains knowledge from such a person and then comes in to implement that, record all those things, and then come and implement that in the organization. So because I remember we used to have, even this year we have had one training on how to use, so new lecturers who are coming on board, how to use the LMS. It means we are going there to obtain knowledge so we can be able to provide better services for the students. And sometimes we bring in experts to come and train the lecturers on how to teach in the distance school, because the distance school is different from the regular school. So all these are what knowledge engineers bringing in experts or tapping information from experts so you can be able to share with others within the organization. All right, so knowledge can be thought of as the combined result of what person's experiences and then the information they possess. So when we talk about knowledge, it is about your experiences and then the information that you possess that gives you knowledge, right? So I have knowledge about this. The knowledge you have will be based on your experiences and then the information that you have about that situation that gives you more knowledge about what that thing is about or what it is talking about. All right, so in general, knowledge can be classified or grouped into what two main categories. We have the explicit knowledge and then the tacit knowledge. When we talk about explicit knowledge, it is easier or easily captured and then stored within documents and then other media. So tacit or explicit knowledge is always recorded, just like we have a handbook for distance learning and everything is written from step 1 to step 5, how to conduct yourself as a distance, how to organize yourself as a distance student, how to be part of the distance school. A handbook for distance learning is provided. So that is explicit knowledge. So you read and then you obtain information from that. Understand? So this type of knowledge tends to be highly detailed, written down, formal, and then systematic. So you follow the steps and then you understand the situation. And then the next one, it is often stored in the form of manuals, reports, documents, procedures, and then database files. So you go into the database and everything is written down, you follow. You go on the LMS, everything is specified. Click here, open, download, read, submit your assignment, documented. A textbook has been submitted. I think our textbook will be ready. The textbook will go through evaluation and then we will post that on the LMS for you guys very soon. So all the chapters that we are dealing with will be in the textbook and you can read further. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. And then we have the tacit knowledge, which is characterized by what factors such as what perceptions, beliefs, values, intuitions, and then experiences. So tacit knowledge is something that is so very difficult to capture. It is something that somebody what possesses. It is not written down, it is not documented in any book. You can gain that through experiences, working with somebody for a long time. You begin to act the same way the person acts. Like being in the space of one person for like 10 years, you behave basically sometimes like the person. Like when a man and a woman stay together in the same house, husband and wife, Ananias and Seraphina or whatever in the Bible. When the husband came, Ananias came to lie. She also came to say the same thing because they've been living together in the same house for years. So they live under same lies. You understand? Like when sometimes you see a person is like, you resemble your it's like you and your husband. Meanwhile, they are coming from two different families, but because they've been living together, sharing the same bed, same things that you know. You understand? So they become like their face begin to look like each other. Like you and your husband resemble, Papa. How can Ewe and then Akan guy resemble? But because they've been staying together for years, they become like the same. So that the moment the person speaks, you start like I thought you're behaving like your husband. Yeah, it is because the person has been living with the man for years. She begin to acquire the behavior of that man. So they behave in the same way, the same manner. So that is tacit knowledge. You work with somebody for years and then you begin to gain his experiences. You can do the same work that the person does. The same behavior, the same thing that the person, like you can do the same work. Meanwhile, the way he works, he didn't write it in a book for you to read. It is just by experience you can be able to behave the same, like do the same. So that is tacit type of knowledge in organization. All right, so our last but one slide as we close. So knowledge management involved with what? Collecting or obtaining or eliciting knowledge and then converting, that is coding or codifying it into a form that allows it to be shared across the organization. So we can try and then organize or deal with people who have certain knowledge. But maybe the person have some knowledge, tacit knowledge within him. You can work with a person and based on your experience, you can be able to collect those knowledge and then codify them and then begin to write. Sometimes, like I'm teaching you and I'm sharing my knowledge with you. The knowledge I'm sharing with you is just from my mind. I can sit down with you and then advise you, which it is not written in any book. But based on that, you can be also you can be writing points and then you'll be jotting them down. Now at the end of the day, you can summarize it and put it together to become a manual that is guiding you on how you behave and then how you react. And that becomes what? Explicit. So you have converted tacit knowledge that you obtain from me into what? An explicit knowledge which is written down, which becomes like a guideline or a manual that guides you in your behavior. So a key part of this process involves gathering tacit knowledge and then converting it into explicit knowledge. That is basically what I was just explaining to you now. That based on your experience with me, you can be writing. Some people who can mimic like the president of Ghana or the former president. When they speak, it's just, you might think it is the president of Ghana who is speaking. They've been listening to him for years. And now they know or they are able to just behave the same way as the president. You have people like that. There's a guy who can speak like the late former president, Jerry. He can just, the way he speaks, based on the person's experience with him or listening to him continuously, he is able to understand and speak in the same way. So we can convert people's or tacit knowledge into what? Explicit knowledge, which can be shared within the organization to improve on what? The performance and then the growth of the organization. All right, so today we will come to an end of our discussion on the overview of business information technology. So next week we will dive into our next chapter and then we'll continue with it. Yes, Clemento Suarez is one of the guys who is able to behave the same way as the former president. He can speak like the late former president, just like that. And then there's this guy also, is it Romanus? who also speaks like Akufo-Addo. He can also speak just like Akufo-Addo. You understand? Or former president Nana Akufo-Addo. That is how people are able to study people and then behave the same way. What they are saying, it's not like it's written down in a book and then they are reading to another. No, but based on their experiences, they are able to gather
this tacit knowledge, which can be converted into what explicit knowledge for use in organization and in our life. Okay. A lot of people sing like Brother Sammy. So, hey, you, Abraham, we beg you. We beg you. Like by now, you should be playing the World Cup. You should be expecting the Ghana national team. All right. So, thank you. Or please, any question? Next World Cup, Abraham will be playing for Ghana because he plays like Messi. So, he will be called by the national team coach to go and represent Ghana. All right. So, any question? Any question, any contribution as we end our discussion for today? Done well. At least every time we try and close around 3 o'clock so that at least you can have the 45 minutes for. Oh, I think this is your last class. We have one more class. So
Yeah, we have one more class.
One more class.
Okay, so you can relax and then go in for your last class. I also have one more class.
Oh, okay.
We both.
Thank you very much. Please, would a slide be posted on the LMS or you share?
I think I've already posted this.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. So thank you all for your time, and we'll meet again next week.
All right.
Same time, same venue. So enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Right. Bye to everyone.
Bye.
Oh, how ambitious.